Welcome to another tech video. Today we are going to be looking at an old Packard Bell laptop. So this has come from a customer who basically the power input into the jack on the side is very loose, and he's having to stuff a bit of paper in there to hold it in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that power jack today and get the unit back off to him as soon as possible. So the nice thing about this is it's not a jack that's soldered onto the motherboard, so it's a straight cable replacement. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is just pop over the back. We've got to remove the back cover. So we're going to remove all of the screws. In this case, there's there's quite a lot of screws all the way around. I'm not going to count them all. Let's see if we can remove the battery first of all, like that. So that's the battery out of the way. Now we're going to take off this bottom panel. Like that, which contains the hard disk and the memory. So this has got 8 gig of memory in it. We've got a 4 gig chip in there and another 4 gig here. And this is the old spinning hard disk. So the next thing we want to do is take out the CD drive. So we're going to remove the screw that's holding that in, if we can. Okay, yep, that's out. Got to take that all the way out because it holds the there's a drive in place. So let's see if we can get that out. There we go. That's the CD drive out, and now we can just go around and remove all the screws from the case. Okay. So we're also going to take out the hard disk. All the screws are the same length, which is an added bonus because when they're different lengths, you've got to make a note of where they've come from. Take the hard disk out as well. Right, and now we just need to double check, make sure all the screws are out before we start trying to prise it open. Okay, so we've got another couple down here. Okay, it's another 3. Right. Okay, so I think that is all of the screws that we got out. I think we've got one more in there. Not sure if that is part of it or not, but we'll take it out. Because what we don't want to do is have everything stuck. Okay. So that's all the screws removed. Okay, the next thing is we want to actually start prizing the device open. So we do the plastic spreader. We just slide round, unclipping as we go. Okay, so there's a broken heat sink just under here. The heat sink plastic is broken. So just to make sure we're aware of that, so we haven't done that. So now, all right. So it comes in 2 parts. So what we've got to do is there's a few bits that we need to unclip off the motherboard, or remove off the motherboard. We've got another screw in here I forgot. Okay, let's just turn that over and get that out. Screw out from there. Around here. Okay, that should just lift off now if we're careful. Yep. Okay, seems to be another screw somewhere. No, no other screws. We've got, by the look of it, we've got one more. We've got another 3 screws along the back here. So 1, 2, 3, just under there, which I hadn't appreciated. So these ones are smaller screws. These ones are tiny. So we'll put that to those to one side. Okay, now that should come out. Yep, like that. Okay, right, so underneath here we've got some ribbon cables to remove. So let's have a look up under there. So you can see here we've got one here, which is for the trackpad. So we want to lift up the little white tab, and that will just pull out. And then we've got the second one, which is the main keyboard cable. So we're going to carefully remove that as well, like that. And then one at the very back, which looks like it goes the power light. So that is a bit of a tricky one. It's a very short cable. Right, there we go. So that's the top removed. So we've got 1, 2, 3 ribbon cables removed. That can go up out of the way for now. Now the cable that we're interested in this power unit here, because the problem that we've got is the customer is saying that the power lead just wiggles around and keeps dropping out. So we are going to remove that, and unfortunately that goes all the way underneath the motherboard, so we're going to have to remove the main board as well, of which there should be a few screws. So I can see we've got 1, 2, 3 screws to remove. So we're not actually going to remove this main board completely. We're just going to move it enough so that we can get the power cable unclipped from the board. Okay, yep, so that gives us enough room. I'm going to remove the USB connector, which just lifts up, and that ribbon cable should remove from there. So let's see how that comes out. Okay, so that just unclips from there. Right, which is enough room for us to certainly work with it. So that will just Okay, yeah, I see that just slides back in. So what we're going to do now is remove it from its locator clips. Which we do like that. And then that just removes out. Okay, now inside there's two retaining clips right in there, and I think that's probably what the problem is. So we've got a replacement. Is it long enough? Okay, so yes it is. So this is going to go back in there. Not that way around, it's going to go this way around, which looks good. And then the cable is going to go back round here, slide under all of these little clips, get that under there, like that. There we go. Bit fiddly to do. Okay, right, and this goes in like this. Okay, like that. You want to get that back under there in the right place. This needs to go back under this here. There we go. Okay, that is it. So now we can reattach all of our ribbon cables. There we go, that's that one on. Now we've got our 3 screws to put back in the board. One was there, one was there. Okay, so that's our 3 screws put back in the motherboard. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to wrestle getting this back on. So the first one that we're going to put in is our power switch, which goes in here like this. Okay, so that's that one in. That was difficult. Now we're going to put our ribbon cable for the keyboard in, which is slightly easier, but we do have to lock the cable in place with the side clips. And then we're going to put our trackpad back in. Which is by far the easiest cable because you get a little bit of wiggle room with it. There we go. Lock that into place. Okay. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the hard disk back in. Then we're going to take, oh, that seems to be a bit damaged, slightly bent. In actual fact, the bracket is a bit loose, so I'm just going to slide that back in. like that. Right, so now what I want to do, now we've got that pretty much back together, just going to plug it in. Okay, yep, that's fixed it. And we've got power, so that is perfect. Right, so we've got power. Now we can go ahead and reassemble the device. So we're going to take our 3 small screws, put along the panel at the back where the battery is, like so. And then we're going to take our, well, how many screws have we got here? Right, so let's go ahead and get these ones in first of all. Okay, so that's all of those back in place. Now we can put our front panel back on, which just clip and press to get the tabs locked in. 3 screws on here. Okay, and then the battery should just slide back in, clip in like that. Next thing we're going to do is open it up, make sure that everything is seated in, clipped in, which it is. And that's all there is to it. What we're going to do is we'll just get this fired up, see if it works on the battery, which it does. We'll get our connector in, that's good sound there. Make sure that's booted up, and then all we need to do is once we're finished we will shut this down and give it a thorough clean and return it to a customer. So that was all there was to that video. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.